Hi, everyone. Once in a while, I get a very interesting question. And this week, I received a question that I would like to share the answers with all of you. So, you're done grieving and have cried your last tear, but many of you haven't healed yet. Is your mind on autopilot? Are you still stuck in grief of a past relationship? Thinking negative thoughts and are not able to enjoy life? Are blessings all around you and you can't seem to feel any happiness? How many of us have asked these particular questions? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then chances are you haven't totally healed yet and haven't learned to love yourself. The journey of loving yourself is highly underrated, and yet a critical part of healing is learning to love yourself. The key is to loving yourself is by finding happiness from within. Let me say it again. The key to loving yourself is by finding happiness from within. Finding happiness from within is a process. Today, we're going to talk about the first step to happiness. Often, the first step is always the hardest, and doing the right thing is sometimes easier said than done. Our mind knows we should stop obsessing over the past, but our hearts want to cling on to what we're familiar with, and that is pain and suffering. Well, I have some good news that will help us get unstuck and start living again. So, what is the first step to happiness? The first step is to make your happy list. Now, I know many of you may be thinking, Lucia, is this the last? This is the last thing I wanted to think about is writing a happy list. I know and understand how hard it may be to get motivated to write this list. But you see, this is so crucial to part of your overall healing because being unhappy is what got you into the unhappy situation you were in to begin with. And you may be wondering, what do I mean by that? Let me explain. Finding your happiness from within is the key to preventing yourself from getting hurt again. Being unhappy is a draw for unhappy people. Unhappy people are attracted to unhappy people because misery loves company, as they say. So, if all you're familiar with is unhappiness, then you will subconsciously attract unhappy, toxic people in your life. As an example, if you grew up in a family where you had unhealthy role models, then you were conditioned to think unhealthy behaviors were normal. As a child, that's all you knew. And you've normalized unhealthy in your mind. Then when you get older and become an adult, you will subconsciously gravitate toward people who are unhealthy because that's what you were familiar with as a child. And this leads me to my earlier point of how you got into your unhappy situation to begin with. Okay, so I just want to stop right here. Um, it is it is very challenging for many of us. Many of us, I would say a majority of us, we grew up in a family where we did not necessarily have the happiest role models. And for today's discussion, I'm not here to point blame on our caretakers or our parents or our childhood. Okay, it is what it is, and unfortunately, there isn't a lot of education out there that uh, help parents to prepare of raising children and to help parents be healthy role models. And especially in the old days, nowadays there seems to be a lot more information and resources out there so that uh, parents and people alike can learn to improve themselves and to be a more effective role model. But in the old days, it just wasn't available. So I'm not here to pin blame on anyone, or but it's important for all of us to understand where we came from and the kind of environment that we came from. And by understanding that, we can then understand how we've adopted some of our ways of thinking that may be a little off, and how what our definition is happiness, what our definition of happiness is from the earlier exposure of what we thought happiness was in our childhood. Okay, folks, it's time we heal and take the first step to reprogramming our minds to a new paradigm of thinking in efforts to make happiness our new familiar mindset versus unhappiness. Let me say that again. It's time we heal and take the first step to reprogramming our minds to a new paradigm of thinking in efforts to make happiness our new familiar mindset versus unhappiness. The first step is to make your happy list. By practicing your happy list, we can replace old happiness pattern of thinking and replace it with happiness as the new pattern of thinking. This new shift won't just happen easily or automatically, but rather it's a process that will take repetitive conscious effort to practice new healthier behaviors. Old habits are always hard to break, so we need to be patient with ourselves as we take the time to practice new habits. And in time, the new habits become our new default setting for our mindset. Then our old unhappy mindset will no longer feel familiar to us anymore, and thus we will no longer allow toxic people and relationships into our world. As you begin creating your happy list, it may be challenging at first because you've been unhappy for so long that you haven't ever thought about your own happiness too often. Especially for those of you who are people pleasers, you may not have any idea what makes you happy. It may take a while to put together a list. Even if you can think of only a few things, that's okay. As you continue focusing on yourself, more ideas will come to you. Remember, in the beginning, it will feel foreign to you because you're not used to thinking of your own happiness and prioritizing yourself above others. But rest assured, as you spend time making your list, it won't be long before taking care of you first will become a new habit and mindset. Okay, so let me stop right here. Um, when I was single for 9 years before I got married, I was dating a gentleman for about 9 years. It was a toxic relationship. He was a narcissist, and I after we broke up after 8 years, it did take a while to heal. And these are the what I'm sharing today are the things I went through that I had to go through to relearn some of the things and develop new ways of thinking and habits that were not serving me anymore when I was, 8 years ago or 9 years ago. And so what I can tell you was what I'm sharing with you is from my own experience. And let me tell you, I was also a people pleaser. I think most of us women, especially the way women are raised in general, is that because we were raised to be social creatures, and we're the ones that are more um, the women are the ones that do more of the interacting than men when growing up. And so we were conditioned long ago to learn how to get along with people and how to please people, right? So we take that along with whatever we learned in childhood that may have not been the best way of whatever our version of happiness was for that we learned in childhood. We take that along with people pleasing, and as an adult, it becomes a mess, right? For those of you who can relate of being a people pleaser, that's all we know is to people please. We want to keep the whole family happy, right? Our children, our spouses, our in-laws, right? We're here to try to coordinate the whole family and make everybody one happy family. Well, while people pleasing is not necessarily by itself a bad trait to have, as a matter of fact, it's a strength. It's a good trait to have, but we all need to be careful of over people pleasing. When we get to the point that we're over pleasing, we are we are doing it at the expense of our own happiness. And if we people please long enough, we tend to forget what makes us happy, right? We're too busy trying to make other people happy that we lose sight of what makes us actually happy. And so you factor in a toxic relationship on top of that, then you really your mind gets really confused, and before you know it, after many years of emotional abuse, you do lose yourself, and you lose sight of who you are and what happiness even is. For those of you who are struggling to start your own happy list, here are some ideas I will share with you from my personal happy list. Okay, so I realized that when I first started putting together my own happy list, it took a while, right? For those of you, and for those of you who can relate and who've been in a long term relationship, whether it's a long term marriage or you've been in a long term relationship that was toxic, it will take a while to put together a list because all this time you haven't really thought about yourself. You put all your energies and your effort into making somebody else or making others happy, that you're the last one on the list. And you really don't know what how to even start what makes you happy. So it is going to be challenging. Don't be hard on yourself. Take your time. But as for myself, as I started jotting things down on my list, it did get easier. And you may not be able to put together a whole list in one day. It may take in a course of a week or two. When you, as you think of things, you write it down, because folks, what we're dealing with here is it's a totally new radical way of thinking, and it is going to be a major change of your mind and how it thinks, and what and having to change what originally was your version of happiness, which was really enabling a toxic relationship. So all this is going to be a process, and so don't I would just want to say to all of you, to encourage you, don't be hard on yourself. Just take your time. There's no rush to put together this list, but the important thing is you need to start thinking about your own happiness, and the first step to that happiness is to put together your make your happy list. Okay, so I want to share with you some of the lists of the things that I have put together, and just to let you know, this is not a list that's etched in stone forever. As you know, as we get older, we change, and you know, we're the same. If you think back on your own life, the interest you have now wasn't the interest you had 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or even 30 years ago, right? In your 20s, what interests you and what makes you happy could be substantially different than what makes you happy right now, right? 20, 30 years later. So keep in mind, this is a fluid list. It's constant changing. It's a This list is a work in progress. It's not going to be etched in stone. It will, and it's a list that you can change anytime. You can revise it. You could add more things. You can take things off of it. But the key is to have this happy list. So here are some of the things I thought of for my own happy list I want to share with you, just to give you some ideas in case you need to start thinking of ideas. Okay. I like listening to my favorite music. I love songs. I love peaceful, relaxing kind of music, whether it's just instrumentals alone. And I like all kinds of music, actually. Smooth jazz, love songs. Uh, I even listen to the top 40 every now and then, right? So I have a very interest of a varied, when it comes to music genre, there's a variety there. But I do have my favorites. I'm sure all of you have your favorite songs and music that you like to listen to, right? So the whole idea is, jot down the songs or type of music that you like that makes you happy. Uh, Okay. And I like drinking green tea every day. Now, before I retired, when I was working, I really didn't have a lot of time to drink, drink my favorite green tea every day. And actually, back then, I didn't even think about green tea. It's not only recently, till a couple years ago, I retired, that I have extra time on my hands, and I developed a passion of drinking green tea. I love green tea. It's very soothing. I realize that green tea also has some healing properties. It actually calms you if you have inflammation in your body. So I just found green tea to be a great drink, and I try to drink it every day. I work out in my gym, in my home gym. I have more time to exercise, so I make sure regularly I do exercise in my home gym. Cooking, reading, writing, creating video content, attending musical concerts, Broadway shows, vacationing on cruises, meeting friends to chat over a cup of coffee, going out to eat, enjoying my favorite ice cream or dessert, watching movies, clothes shopping, taking photos, and admiring the beauty of all the roses and flowers outside in my yard. And I do occasionally play golf as well. So these are just a handful of things that are on my list, and I do, in time, I may change it. So, but for now, this is just kind of gives you an idea of what I mean by by creating your own happy list. Okay. So after writing your happy list, how do you push yourselves to start doing the things on your list, regardless of how you are feeling, whether you are numb deeply hurting, and maybe even a little depressed. Please be comforted knowing that many others have been in your shoes and have made it through successfully one step at a time. When you're feeling down, it's not the time to wallow in self pity and to isolate yourself from the rest of the world. You need to force yourself to start doing the things on your happy list. During this time, it's also important to surround yourself with people who care and love you. Push yourself to go out and enjoy life, even if you're not in the mood or feel like it at that moment. Okay, so let me just stop right here. It is very hard to get motivated, right? If for those of you who are who on who make a New Year's resolution that you're going to start exercising, right? You may even go out and buy exercise equipment, and you may get all motivated for the first month, January, February, and all of a sudden the rest of the months, the rest of the year, you get less motivated and you kind of exercise less and less. That's common. But the point that I'm trying to make here is you taking that example of making a New Year's resolution and exercising. Um, you just push yourself to just exercise, right? And so while it may not be something that you're in the mood for, especially coming out of a bad relationship, most of us who come out of a bad relationship, we just kind of want to, go in a corner and just wallow in our self pity and cry, right? Don't we want to just shut the world out and just feel sorry for ourselves? Well, that's self pity, and it's a common thing that most of us do, and it's perfectly understandable. But in order to make some positive changes in our lives and to redirect our thinking and heal, especially healing, uh, it's important that we push ourselves. We must force ourselves to get out of our comfort zone, get out of our world of grieving and pity, and even if it's just for a couple hours. We're not saying spend the whole day doing jolly happy things, right? Of course not. I mean, it's just, but what I am proposing is that it's important that you force yourself, even if it's for a short while, to 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 start attacking start tackling, excuse me, the items on your happy list. It's very, very important. As a matter of fact, it's a habit that you'll probably need to eventually practice every day. Okay. So think of this like doing house chores. It's always difficult to get motivated to do housework, but once you get going, it gets easier and you eventually get it all done. I think about my house chores every week. If for those of you who do live in an apartment, condo, or townhome, or a house, there's housework that has to get done, right? You have to maintain where you live. And I'll be honest with you, when I do my weekly house chores, I kind of tend to try to put it off. It's not fun. It's not something you just want to you wake up every morning and go, "Oh gee, I'm looking forward to doing housework," right? It's just not one of those kind of things. And so I just wanted you guys to think of this happy list as a house chore. In the beginning, it's going to feel like that. Okay. I will tell you that once you get into the habit and you heal, this happy list will just be automatic. It will be second nature and you won't feel like it's such a chore. But for now, as you get started, because it's foreign to you, you need to think of it as a chore. You're just going to push yourself through it. You're just going to get up, right? You're going to stand up, get up from your chair or sofa, and you're going to just start looking at your happiness and start doing a couple things on your list. Um, okay, so you need to force yourself and go. Okay, so think of this like doing house chores. Let me just go over this again. It's difficult. It's always difficult to get motivated to do housework, but once you get going, it's easier, and you will eventually get it done. So you need to force yourself to go out and have fun with friends, even if you're not happy or feeling motivated. By making the commitment to yourself to practice daily doing things on your happy list, you will be taking your focus off your sadness, and your mind will reset itself to embrace life's joys and happiness again. Realize this is a process and the changes won't happen overnight. But what I can promise you is that if you're willing to put in the effort, no matter how long it takes, you will find happiness from within. Okay, so it's not going to feel normal to you, especially if you're coming out of a relationship or if you're still trying to get over a relationship or if you're feeling hurt or sad or you're grieving. It's not gonna happen overnight, folks. I just realize that, and don't be hard on yourself. But the key is take the first step. Make your happy list. Then force yourself to start doing the things on your happy list. And look, I'll be honest with you. The first the first few weeks, maybe to a month or 2, you will not be in the mood. You may go out with your friends and your friend's gonna say, "Hey, stop frowning. Stop being so sad. Stop crying," right? All these things are gonna happen. And with good friends, and I say surround yourself with friends that care and love you, they will help to comfort you. You don't wanna hang out with a negative friend or a friend that's gonna sit there and or toxic friend who's gonna make you feel worse. Okay, that's not what you need. And during this time of rebuilding and healing, you need to be around people who are positive, who are healthy and happy. People that have your best interest in mind. People that think well of you, okay? And it's going to take time. And it won't and it's okay if the first few weeks you just are not feeling it. But the important thing is at least you got out of the house. At least you got out and be able to socialize a little bit and reconnect with your friends, right? Or your family. If you're close to your family, that's fine too. But it's reconnecting to all those people that care for you and love you. And this will all help you. This will all help. You don't realize it, but subconsciously, you're already forming a new habit, a new pattern. Your mind and your heart may have not caught up to the process yet, but it will. Okay, I promise you it will. You just got to continue going forward, taking one step at a time. And it may not be a week or 2 or 3 weeks, but maybe by the 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th week, your mood will gradually your heart will begin healing, and at some point you will begin smiling and laughing again. That's the thing I noticed for my own healing um during the time I was trying to heal and do the things on my happy list. It took a while, but I did notice that after a while, I started smiling more, or I started laughing more, and those are it's not something that happened right away, but in time, as you continually love yourself and do these happy things, uh, and surround yourself with happiness, your mind is slowly reprogramming, okay, and resetting. And being away from toxic people and no longer being exposed to toxicity, you will notice a sense of peace in your life. You might be sad still, but you'll be peaceful. And I believe peace is another thing that's highly underrated in our world. Most of us, we every day we fill our minds with a lot of distractions, right? You got work, you got your family, you've got the television, you've got um your computer and your mobile phone. There's so many things that take us away from just being alone and at peace. And especially if you were in a bad relationship, you didn't have peace. And the longer you were in that relationship was the longer that you knew was chaos and pain and anger and resentment and frustration, right? So it's gonna take a while. You didn't get that way overnight, and you won't heal overnight. So I just want to reiterate and just keep driving the point home that it's a process. And so as you practice your happy list, your mind will eventually reset itself and you will eventually heal. Okay? One step at a time, and before you know it, you'll get there slowly but surely. Be patient and have faith. Consistency is key, and gradually, after several months, you will heal and become mentally stronger and happier. This is the journey of loving yourself. Loving yourself is not for the faint of heart. It requires your inner strength and courage to face your fears, get out of your comfort zone, persevere, and never give up while keeping hope and faith alive in your hearts. In summary, it's never too late to find happiness from within. The most important thing is to take the first step towards happiness and keep walking. Trust that the rest of your healing will follow as you stay focused on being happy every day. And as it has been said, every journey begins with a single step. Are you ready to take on the rewarding challenge of loving yourself? Today, I encourage you to make a commitment. to loving yourself right now. Take the first step to happiness. Make your happy list. Okay, folks? I hope this resonates with all of you. Um, trust me and make your happy list. If you haven't healed yet and you're still feeling down from your recent past, or even if you've been down for quite a while, you have to get over that hump of sadness and self-pity. And this is the first step. The first step to happiness is to make your happy list. Okay? So for those of you, if you can if you love this video and you want to share it and resonate, please click like and click share. I encourage you to write comments below. What has worked for you? Maybe share some of your items on your happy list. For those of you who already have a happy list, I welcome you to please put that down in the comments and share with others what are things on your happy list. Okay? And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments also. I will answer your questions. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified of all my upcoming videos. So everyone, I encourage you to seek happiness, to seek your happiness from within, and make your happy list now. Okay? Thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon. Okay, bye.